All right, here we go. Hey everyone, welcome to Rules Fun. I'm Chris. I'm the local game master and also the person who does some gameplay. Usually we play Pathfinder on Sundays. We won't be here this Sunday because people have other things to do. But we will be back the next one. However, that doesn't really matter now because now we're playing Grim Dawn. Or I am playing Grim Dawn. And I'm not just playing Grim Dawn, I'm playing Grim Dawn entirely centered around one item, namely the Codex of Reckoning, which is an item that gives quite some pretty good bonuses to physical classes, to your standard warrior.
I'll keep an eye out.
But the fact that it's a book that we have to carry around, like the one we're carrying around right now, it means that we cannot use a shield or a big two-handed weapon, which would be ideal for the classes. The paladin-like Oathkeeper and the soldier-like soldier. So that's basically the introduction. The introduction is I'm playing Grim Dawn because I think it's fun. It's a nice game. And I was fascinated by the Codex of Reckoning. Which gives bonuses to the two classes that should not use those items. I hope the sound is alright. Please tell me if it is. I'm just gonna get started. There's not much of an introduction other than this. We're now very much still at the start of the game, which I've played many times, so I generally know which way to go and where everything is. But we'll see. We will see. I hope to be able to finish Act 1 today, and it's probably extremely unrealistic and is not gonna happen in 2 hours. But who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we can actually get there. Now, usually, playing the combination of classes that I currently am, this fight, this mini-boss, or actual boss, I guess, here in this cave, would be absolutely ideal for this class, because, or not absolutely ideal, would be very good for this class so early in the game, because he drops a very nice shield, which is not very useful for us right now. This one, look at it. It has pretty good stats, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't think I am. And it deals more physical damage and internal trauma damage, which are the damage types we are using. But alas, not an item for us right now. That's elemental damage, I don't need that. As a slight warning, I am playing this the way that I play these kinds of games, which means doing absolutely everything. So I'm going to run around every single area until I've got the entire area explored. that's just how I play these kind of games. Now, as you can see, everything in this area is level 7 while we are level 19. So everything basically dies in one hit, except for bosses or mini-bosses. And we deal a lot of damage and don't really get any experience, and the items that we're going to find here aren't items that are going to be very useful to us, probably. Although there might be something fun in between it, somewhere. That is because last week I mostly went to the Crucible and did a lot of Crucible things to get our devotion. Picked up a normal item, I don't want you. Go away, you're worth nothing. I mostly did that to get my devotion up, so that we can get all devotion points in the base game without going to higher difficulties, because I probably won't be motivated to also go to higher difficulties after this playthrough. I think that playing just at normal difficulty is probably enough. I will also try opening the map less than I usually do. It's kind of become a reflex of mine to always know roughly where I am, but I realize that it can be quite annoying to watch. Whoops, didn't need to do that. I did it again. Should stop doing that. Now, because we are using an offhand focus instead of a two-handed weapon or a weapon and a shield, we are very limited in the actual abilities that we can use. Which is why I've got two movement abilities, two engagement abilities. It's basically because they both deal quite a bit of damage and are a nice ability that deals damage and has a cooldown. So I will also be using them when I'm right in front of my opponent. I would gladly use other abilities. A nice area of effect one would be cool, especially one with a bit of a shorter cooldown. But for now, we're stuck with this, because we don't have a shield or a two-handed weapon, and those abilities say like, hey, you need a shield or a two-handed weapon to use this. Maybe we get something else that's fun later on. Ooh. We have a totem. That is good. That is really good. I mean, I say that's really good. It doesn't really matter too much right now, I think. Because we are higher level than... We're pretty high level for here. So what those things usually do is spawn enemies that are pretty powerful. And if you kill them all, you get a pretty nice reward. But they're now level 11. So we won't get too much good. But, you know, nice to win it. I'm already running out of space. I'm going to not take up many items anymore. Oh no, we don't have that ability. because these items aren't worth that much. Like most of the items I'm picking up, I pick up only to sell later. It hurts my inner hoarder a little bit to leave all these items around here. But to be honest, otherwise I would have to go back so often that it just wouldn't be worth it. When I'm lingering on an item, when I'm looking at it for quite a while and then in the end deciding not to pick it up, it's probably because it has something like +1 on +1 name, +2 name. Those are items that give bonuses to skills, which is something what we want because that is how our character gets stronger. And in my experience, they are often way better than just bonuses to abilities. From my experience, a few good things are, or at least for offense, our attack speed is very high up there. Attack speed, just a 1% increase in your attack speed to really escalate your character's output. And just bonuses to any of these skills. That just gives pretty high bonuses. What would we want? I mean, we'll get there later. Please stay your weapon, stranger. We're no outlaws. We're captured and put to work here in the mine. I hope you're here to set us free. You're slaves here? So it would seem. Nothing is worse to a rover than being confined. We're part of a rover band that set up camp in the secluded part of Whitemire, hoping to avoid trouble, but trouble found us anyway. They captured 4 of us, but young Larkin and 2 other men who were here already died from overwork. They just left their bodies down here with us. Rovers follow a path of peace, but I can't help but think the world is a better place since you sent those outlaws to meet their judgment. I killed the bandits, you're free to go. Yay! Experience. We will spread the word of your deed. Should you ever find yourself in the company of rovers, you will always find a place beside our fire. Take care. Yeah, rovers are pretty interesting. In this post-apocalyptic wasteland that is Grim Dawn. They are a faction entirely dedicated to being like, no, we won't fight. We will be peaceful people here. And no, in a world that's pretty hostile, that does get them into quite some trouble. Ah! Picked up the wrong item again. Go away. I will skip through most notes. Like, maybe I will read 1 or 2 along the way. I probably won't, because there are a lot of notes, and it's both going to take a really long time, and some of these notes are just really depressing. There's so many sad ones. I'm just going to see if everything's still working. So it's always... it seems to be working. It's always a consideration, like, if when I'm watching myself, if it is frozen, is it because the stream is breaking, or my phone is? Usually it's the latter, but it has been the former before. And I only discovered after, I think, a loading screen that went on for way too long. That was like, oh, apparently my computer cannot handle this game and streaming and Discord at the same time. Which is fair, I don't have a very sophisticated computer setup, not at all. promise the game is going to be a lot harder later on. That's an interesting thing, by the way, that I really like about Grim Dawn. The game... I say it's really interesting and a really cool thing, and then what you see is exactly the point where it breaks. The game actually levels with you. So instead of each location having a set difficulty or a set level, they have a lowest and highest level. And if you're between the lowest and highest level, which I think can range quite a bit, then the enemies will be off your level. So the reason why the enemies here are so low a level is because this is a location that you're usually going through at the start of the game. Like this is the third, kind of debatable, kind of depending on what path you're going. This is either the second or the third location that you're going to find yourself in. So enemies are pretty low level. And usually when you get here, yeah, you're either just level 10 or you're just past level 10. Like either a little bit before or a little bit after level 10. But around that range. We're level 19. It's usually something that happens kind of halfway through Act 1. Look at that. An enemy who took more than just a hit. Wonderful. I'm going to the right here because I know that there's a quest somewhere here on the right, or more accurately, somewhere in the middle, for which you need to be all the way on the left. And I've made the mistake multiple times to not do that quest, and if you don't do that, to not accept that quest before you trigger its condition. And if you do that, you just you lose out on the experience, and that is free experience that we're losing out on. And even though it really doesn't matter because we're already way too overleveled here anyway, it's still free experience. I don't want to give up on that because I'm going there anyway. Then I'd rather go there and getting 300 more experience than go there and not get the 300 more experience. But we'll see. Yep. Thank you. Is that something of mine? Do I have that ability? Oh, that was... yeah, okay. I hope so, at least. Yeah. There we go. That's what it was. Oh, messed up with blood. I need a Tome of Ruin. When an item says of Ruin, it's probably an item that we want, because that means that the item deals... not deals. The item gives bonuses on physical and internal trauma. Why am I on my second? And those are our damage items. It always kind of hurts me with this character to leave behind a perfectly good shield. Like at the moment, I'm not even really benefiting from using an offhand focus instead of shield. The shield would be better in every single way, or would probably be better in every single way. But it's all as preparation that in 11 levels, when we finally get there, I am prepared to use the Codex of Reckoning. Now, Isaac. My rescue arrives. I'm afraid you're too late though. These bloodthirsty bastards already took my best parts for the altar. Must be something I can do. I'm as good as dead. Don't waste your time on me. My valuables are going to do nobody any good hidden away in the tree stump though. You have slain my captors, so you earned this much. Follow the river outside the cabin to the river delta and search ashore. When the world went down this little, I hid my most valuable possessions away underneath a loose tree stump. Take whatever you want. Just bash some cultist's head in for me, eh? Thank you. I will find it. So that's the quest. And it's just really just a little disappointing when you get here and you already found the loose tree stump, because uproot trees are just a thing in the world that you get items from. If you already found it and you go there and you can say like, yeah, I already found your stash. This reaction will be, you will be so sad, and his reaction will be like, oh, guess I wasn't as good as well hidden as I thought. But now, we can do him one last favor by taking his stuff. And getting experience for it. Oh, no, never mind. I thought, oh, nice. Oh, an item that has the same amount of attack speed, maybe it's better. But then it turned out that it has over 100 less armor, which is a lot. I mean, our armor is 140. That's quite a deceptive number, or at least it's not so much that is a deceptive number. The amount of armor that items give is a deceptive number, because actually it gives less. It gives a certain amount based on the item slot. So, for example, body armor gives, relatively speaking, the most armor. I think, at least. Yeah, chest armor gives the most armor, and feet and hands, feet and arms give the least. Which makes sense, I guess. Having good gloves is not gonna do much in combat if you don't also have good chest armor. Ooh, that might just be really good. I think that is really good. Ah, bonus to shield training. Ah, damn. But also bonus to blitz. I think I'm just gonna test this. So now we are at 850 damage. 870. Alright, so you're better. So I'm handing in a bit of armor, but this is a good item, and it gives bonuses to so it says +2 to blitz about halfway, So that means that our Blitz ability is now at rank 3 instead of 1, which is good, because that means it deals more damage. Now it also help Overguard for shield abilities, and it would add things to Overguard, I think. No, it would add things to shield training, which is great, but we don't have a shield, so it's not useful to us. And that is a quest. Because Milton Hart is the brother of Sybil Hart, who is back at Devil's Crossing and who asked us to look for a brother. And we found him! Yay! I'm now going this way for no other reason than I haven't been here before. It doesn't really give me much experience. It doesn't really give me much of anything, to be honest. I do it mostly out of habit, but who knows? We might just accidentally stumble upon an item that we desperately need, such as a better focus. Because we need that. Or plate armor of the Flesh Hulk. That looks like better armor. There's an elemental section of that. Well, we have gives more energy per second, but we don't really use that much energy. So, yeah, there we go. 3 points more damage. And how much more armor? Ooh, 12 more armor. That's an increase in numbers. That's always good. Not always. That's usually good. My internet is acting up, or my phone's internet is acting up, which means I cannot look at the stream, and that makes me really nervous. Yeah, we're half an hour in. I didn't do... Oh, I automatically did this. You travel a dangerous path, stranger. This solitary refuge is one of the few safe places left in Whitemire. If you plan to set out on the road again, perhaps there is a way that we could help one another. But what might that be? The Slith are unnatural creatures and poison the land itself. So it seems only fitting that we should turn some of their vile magic against them. Their shamans carry bone necklaces, primitive things, but they carry primal power within them. I can weave this power into something more potent for you. If you'll bring me a few of their necklaces and say 100 gold bits to aid us in return, I will fashion for you a magical ring. What say you? Will these necklaces suffice? Ah yes. There is raw power in these bones, and my deft old hands will weave it into something more potent yet. I will have to finish the ring for you shortly. Thank you. So, the ring isn't that good. I mean, it's not bad, but to me, I never really liked it because all it does is add some damage. It mostly adds damage to Beastkin, which is like a specific type of creature, namely beasts. And I mean, you encounter them quite a bit, but they're not the main enemy, and they're a little subgroup of enemy, and I don't know. I just don't really like things that are like, oh yeah, you get bonuses to a specific creature type, because it always feels so limited. Probably also the reason why I don't really like rangers in Pathfinder. It just feels like you're either very useful or just useless. And with this, it's the same. Like, it's especially the way that, because beastskin aren't a main enemy, or at least not in the base game as far as I've seen. There are places with a lot of them. I mean, the entire, probably the most we're going to see today is beastskin. But none of the big bosses are beastskin. None of the larger hard factions are beastskin. The bosses that kind of finish up the acts aren't beastskin. So you know, the targets that really need them for aren't beasts or beastskin. But yeah. And also it's only 10%. Most things that either add... Oh, you were not that. Thought there was a medal for some reason. Anyway, that was a very long and dreadful way of saying I'm not going to use that ring. I can actually notice that the enemies get harder. They don't die in one hit anymore. Ooh, Bull Rush has reached 23. Nice. Lightning damage. Probably one of the most unfortunate things that I find of having a lot of damage type is the fact that I'm going to skip over so many items. That could very well be useful for another character, but we're full on physical damage. They're not going to be useful to us. I'm also very much playing suboptimally in the way that I make choices that are not good, or that are not so much choices that are not good. Choices that are not necessarily the best choice. For example, why I say it at this specific moment is I just very easily glanced over an item that gave base damage. That gave, I think, 3 more vitality damage, which may actually be good for us because it is more damage. And flat damage becomes really strong with high attack speed. And since we have only a one-handed item, one-handed weapon, we probably have a pretty decent attack speed. However, the item itself, the damage type itself, vitality damage, we don't do anything. We're full on physical damage. And maybe like a little bit of fire damage, but that's more incidental than that I'm focusing on it. If it gave 3 fire damage, sure, yeah, then I might check. If it gave attack speed, or also an increase in physical damage, then I probably would also have taken a look. but it didn't. How's our inventory? Alright, we're almost full. Then after this we will just take a quick visit to Devil's Crossing. And there is the tree trunk that Isaac has. It always drops Isaac's folders, which may actually not be bad. No, never mind. Nope, they're bad. It's actually a bit sad. Those folders they are very powerful for the area, or at least that's what I think. Because so often when I get here, so often when I go to that place, I pick up the spolders and I'm like, oh yes, I want to use this. This is far better than what I have. But once again, we're level 19 instead of level, I think, 12, maybe 14 from that area. So yeah. Anyway. There's a fire in your eyes and blood on your clothes. You put a tainted man down. Tell me, how did it feel? I felt vindicated, righteous. That sounds like us. That's what I like to hear. If it wasn't for my bum leg, I'd be out there with you. Paying others with good iron and hearing the tales is just the next best thing. Speaking of which, here's your share. Thank you. Iron scrap. Great. You killed scores of the shambling dead. But I think you can do better. Their corruption created some truly monstrous mutations in the dead. I hear tale from the Burwitch survivors that witnessed a horrifying transformation with their own eyes. Balros and Hagra. There was fine folk in the boarding house up in Burwitch. That is until the Ether got them. Turned them into things they only used to see in nightmares. Those that got away spoke of bloated flesh and blades of bone. Cannot even imagine it. Word is they chased the survivors as far as the mouldering fields to the south of Burwitch. Go out there and hunt down. Go out there and hunt some down. Then tell me of the slaughter. I'll make it worth your while. Alright. So that's a good one. Now to Sybil. You've returned. I see that you're carrying my brother's amulet. So it is as I feared. Unfortunately, Milton was one of the dead. This is a lot to take in, Milton. I'm sorry, brother. Thank you, stranger. At least I can live knowing my brother is free of all his misery. The amulet was enchanted to keep my brother strong. I think you could use it more than me. Here, may it bring you luck. I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah. So we're now going to be a really bad person and immediately sell the amulet because we already have something that's better. Whoops. Level 23. Alright. That's going to take our items. None of them are really worth it. So I'm just going to sell everything right here. And just make some money out of it. Oh yeah. And we had a new devotion point. Which is going to hammer. More physical armor, more physical damage and more armor. Great! That's exactly what I want. Next up, Foggy Bank. Carnage looks recent. We're now slowly approaching the area where the enemies are actually over our level again. It's still gonna take a while, but... yeah. I mean, those were level 12 and 11. They're also the minor enemies. So they're usually lower levels. And I think they also have lower level caps. Here, these are already 30. So that's good. We're out of the single digits. That's at least good. And I say good because we would generally want to face enemies that are about our level. Because they also... and I may say something that's wrong here, but I'm quite sure it isn't. I'm quite sure that enemies... Oh hey, prisoner called Child. I'm quite sure that enemies drop... the strength of the items that enemy drop is dependent on their level. So, higher level enemies drop better items. So we want enemies of our level because then we can both deal with them and get the best items. Nope, not it. Now I really like this part. There's a prisoner here. We could break open the wooden door. We can also just go and talk to him. And we won't need to open the door. Thank goodness someone came. Those slits. They attacked my caravan and killed all my guards. I think the only reason they left me alive was so they could have me fresh later. Those bastards. I'm from Devil's Crossing. I can help you get back there. Don't kid yourself, kid. Don't kid yourself. Look at all this blood. Not gonna be able to walk out there. I appreciate the thought, but it might be better to just end it quickly. You probably won't like this, but I can open a rift for you. The last thing I want is my legs to stay on this side while the rest of me goes back. But you're not giving me any alternatives, are you? Send me off then. I'm pretty sure this is safe. Whoop. And now he's back at Devil's Crossing. And we never opened his prison. Just the minor things that I enjoy. I've played this part so many times, I need to make my own fun. I'm curious, we're now going towards the area of a boss. I call them I don't know what they're actually called. They're either called bosses or champions, I'm not quite sure. There are several kind of tiers of enemies. It's a bit weird. Enemies, the strength of enemies is decided by multiple things. There are enemies with white names, which like items with white names are pretty basic and not that hard. Rift Hounds, for example. This Rift Hound right here, and this one right here. Then there are enemies with yellow names, which are a bit stronger, such as the Shaman here. But they're still basic enemies, they're still unnamed enemies. Then there are heroes, which have a star above their head. And they can appear randomly. And then there are either bosses or champions, I'm not quite sure, which are a lot harder. As you can see, I'm getting quite pummeled by an enemy that is 5 levels lower than me. If that is any indication. I'm quite sure that heroes. I didn't pay attention, so now I don't know what they're called. No, probably not. I'm quite sure that heroes show up anywhere. Heroes can show up anywhere, or at least they're pretty randomized. There's not one spot where you will always find a hero. Bosses are always in the same place. They very much have their own location. Such as this one right here. Actually, now that I think about it, some heroes also have predetermined location. The 3 heroes we just killed for a quest in the previous 2 areas, those heroes are always at the same spot. And Milton Hart is in one of 2 or 3 spots. Like it's a bit more randomized, but still in specific places. I always find this a bit of a weird area. It is one of the first areas that doesn't really have something. Yeah, that's not true. At first glance, it doesn't feel like it has something. It does have a boss, and the boss does drop an item that is good for a very specific type of character. But other than that, there are no devotion shrines. There are no really chests. There is a quest. To be fair, there is a quest, but it's both started and ended in this area. Oh no, it was also the area that when I started this game, when I did this for the first few times. It was the area that I always forgot. It was the area that I always was like, oh yeah, of course, this is also still a part of this game. We could repair the bridge right here. Not gonna do that. We're going to take the cave. Because in the Flooded Passage is a devotion shrine, and we want to find all of those. And there are enemies here, and there's another boss fight at the end. It's not really good reason not to go here. Don't really see the reason to repair that bridge. And it's not entirely true. There's an achievement, I think, that might benefit from it. There's an achievement for defeating the boss of Act 1 on the highest difficulty before you are level 10. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't even know where to start. The highest difficulty already has... Oh, thank you. The highest difficulty already has this problem, or at least that I've heard, that you really need to have an optimized character. Which, once again, not my playstyle, which is why I play at lower difficulty. Because I want to just try out stuff, play stupid characters, such as a character entirely devoted to using Codex of Reckoning, even if it is a stupid choice. But that might also just be an effect of trying to look things up of the game.
That skill's not
that it feels like you have to play perfectly. I mean, honestly, it's a combination of the two. It's a combination of I assume at least a bit of over-exaggeration. Like Like, yeah, this would be the best choice, but they cannot make it that difficult that you only can do it with like a specific character. But I did read a lot about, yeah, you need to have good items, which I like. I like games that have focus on items. It's one of the things that I think of all its flaws. Maybe not so much. I think it's definitely a way where a thing where Pathfinder outshines 5th edition D&D in the magic items. I never liked. I will always prefer Pathfinder's kind of more modular system of like, this is how you build a magic item, over the 5th edition system of like, here you have a couple of items and they are specific items, and there's no freedom. Oh. Needed to kill one more spider. Ooh, we're level up. Nice. You're not good enough. Oh, actually. I mean lower. Oof. Ooh. No, I don't like the 0% poison and acid resistance. We need that. I'd actually prefer to have that a lot higher, but alas. Which points have coming? 7 and 7. Alright, let's put one more of the And now, what do you want to go for next? What do you want to level next? Oathkeeper 25. I mean, I definitely want Rebuke. Because more physical damage and more retaliation. So yes, that one. Then do I want to go for here? Retribution is nice, and we already have bonuses to internal trauma, but not really a source of it. Tonic shift, higher range. It's good. Guardian Hyperion is good. For Soldier, the next thing we get is at level 20 with Field Command. I mean, we do get Veterancy right here, but I mean, I guess it's good, but it's the only thing that's useful for us. I think I'm first going to try to get Oathkeeper to here. Don't know if it's a good choice, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Because here there are 4 skills actually, like all 4 skills level 32 are gonna be useful to us, so let's level that one. What are your resistances? Fire, cold, vitality, and bleeding. I think I would still prefer the yeah, that's 9 damage. I don't know. I've got no idea. I've got no idea what the best choice is in this game. Honestly, I don't really care. No, it's not a good choice. Playing a full-on physical character. Class is based around shields and using an offhand item. And yes, here we are. Yes, here we are. I will say the only unfortunate thing about having two movement skills is that I never really know which one is which. But I do know that one can only target enemies. So for one you won't move unless you target an enemy. And for the other one, you only move a specific distance, so you might not get to the enemy you're targeting. I'm going to make that mistake more than once. Have we been everywhere? Yes, we have. Good. Then we can now cleanse the shrine, fight the boss, and get to the next area. And then we get to Burwich Outskirts in an hour, which is great because Burwich Outskirts is huge. I don't know if it is that huge. It feels very big. And it probably feels very big because it has a lot of enemies in a very densely packed location. I should first get this one. Bonus internal trauma damage and bonus defensive ability. Yay! There we go. Oh! Bonus physical damage, huh? Let's see. Nope. Oh. What ended there? Wow, really? Spirit is so much... I mean, I guess I do quite a bit of fire damage. Oh, you also have vitality damage. And you deal... burn damage. That's not vitality damage. Ooh, Marrowband. It's not a useful item to us. But it's certainly one of my favorite items. It gives +2 to 2 quite nice summon abilities, and I like that. As I also mentioned last time, I really like this game because you can play a support character in a single player game. Because you can just play a support character and then spawn a lot of pets and just let them do the work for you.
Oh, hello, traveler.
Hello, traveler. If you find yourself going about these parts, I was wondering if you could help us locate someone. I'm a bit tied up with Fortune. Someone disappeared? My master Angrim left our camp earlier today. He's intent on finding a group of survivors that he considers worthy of our smithing talents. We don't exactly see eye to eye on the matter of who we should be helping. Angrim wants to field an army and take the fight to the Ethereals. I'd rather save as many as I can, whether they can fight or not. I want to help these people, but without my mother's forging hammer, the sacred Malio Menhir, I won't be able to make anything worth a damn. Blacksmith, we could use you in Devil's Crossing. If you get a Malio Menhir back, I will gladly join you in Devil's Crossing after I use it to help out around here. Please seek out my master and get Malio Menhir back. I saw him heading out to the northeast. He couldn't have gone far. I will find Angrim. I usually side with him. Because he does magic in his smithing and I like that idea. And he's not as skilled of a smith, but he can infuse his work with magic, which is cool. Considering the extreme physical focus that we have for a character now, I think I will go with the other blacksmith for the first time. Also, taking a look at what his reaction is, and if there is another part of the quest or something, and if it may have horrible consequences, as some things in this game might have. But first, I'm going to see if I can get a strange key from my camp here. because we're going to need it later. Look at that. The enemies are already level 17, so we're really getting there. They don't seem to be dropping any strange keys, which is unfortunate. Other end, we're not. Ooh. I'm actually taking damage, huh? That's bad. Slowly it's showing that this might not be an ideal character. Whoops. Alright. No strange keys, which is unfortunate, but alright, and not at all unexpected. We need a strange key to open this door. This large iron door. As you can hear, it is locked. Now, the first time I found a strange key, it was like, oh cool, I can get into that location. That's cool. I entered, and it was, I think it was a little bit lower level because I didn't do Crucible at the time. Just went through the game. But like the moment I entered that room, the message popped up saying you're now entering an area way above your level, or you sense that this area is filled with something extremely dangerous. To me it was immediately like, oh, okay, yep, this is an area for way higher level, I'm going to get out of here. And rightfully so, because that area has a boss in it, and it's hard. Now we will get back there after we finished Act 1. Like at the end of Act 1 is usually the moment that I go and actually fight that boss. And even then, sometimes with some characters I'm like, nope, I'm not ready for this right now. Speaking of not ready, Savage Totem. Oh, look at that. We're facing enemies of our level. That is good and maybe a little bit scary. Oh, Guardsman Helm. The Guardsman set would have been ideal for this character, provided that we used shield, which we don't. Yeah, there we go. We're slowly getting back to the items, or to the item levels that we should see. I think this is the first positive damage per second if equipped that we got. Provided that it is on a two-handed item, so it's not useful to us. Still. Ah, and there's a second. And now here is Engram. Hello.
Move along now, stranger.
Greetings, stranger. I hope you're out here fighting good fight. I'm here from the Malium Manor. What do you know about that? Duncan needs it to help the refugees. He's a talented boy, that one. The way he weaves magical properties into his craft astounds me, even me sometimes. I prefer a finely honed blade and a solid shield to all that nonsense, though. Duncan was my finest apprentice, but he still needs to learn some priorities. Those people he's trying to help can't even help themselves. Knowledge is a rare gift, we cannot squander it on those who refuse to fight for care. I have a group in Devil's Crossing, you could join us. Devil's Crossing, eh? You certainly do seem like the capable sort. If the rest of your group is anything like you, well, humanity just might stand a chance. Very well. I will be your armor. Together we'll strike back against the invaders and retake Cairn for humanity. Yay! I will see you in Devil's Crossing. And that's the first time I did that. seeing that we're getting up to a full inventory, let's just quickly pop back. Actually go and talk with him. Oh, and Luther Graves, who we also saved. Thanks for saving me behind back. Thanks for saving my behind back there. Turns out not all the rest mean bad business. Go on ahead and set up shop. Let me know if you need anything. Thanks. Ooh, Assassin Market reached level 2. Yes. What are our skills at actually? Oh, Assassin Market is on that one. Many strong people. My ammo will be put to good use. Thank you for bringing me here. Glad you decided to join us. So this is the blacksmith, and we can create items that we can use here, which is great because we're going to need them. Now first, there was I think a where was it? I don't know if we can actually make it here. Not a hollowed fang. Maybe we just have them?
Got something you need stashed?
Oh yeah, there. Vicious Jawbone. Required player level 27, so that's a while away. But it gives us bonus physical and internal trauma damage, and attack speed, and cunning, which are all things that we want. Oh, it's not even a weapon component. That is even better. So then, we will probably want a chipped claw or the upgraded version of it. Just very standard, more physical damage. So that's good.
What brings you to my forge?
There was an upgraded version of you, right? Nope, not serrated spike, that one is piercing. Thought there was. This is not a hollowed fang because that one is vitality. Probably scrolling over it. Other lightning. Mental. Armor piecing. Fire. Vitality. Really thought there was. Displacing crystal remains. Oh, rolling blood deals physical. Ooh, that might actually be worth just putting on all my items. Remember, shells, spike. Oh, like literally the next one over. Severed claw. Physical damage and internal trauma. Oh, but required player level 24. Okay, so that won't use that just yet.
Bring me back any blueprints you find.
Wait, first.
I'll give you a good price.
First sell stuff.
Iron well spent.
And now,
Got something you need
I think I'm just
stashed?
gonna do it. I never do this otherwise. Got 681 roiling bloods. I'll just put that on all of my items. Everything that can get it. Nah, let's do it because it's fun. There we go.
Safe.
And we now deal over 1000 damage. That's good. Back to Burwich outskirts. Oh look, more beast skin. Ooh. Oh, that's suddenly a lot of enemies in one place. That's right. The knockdown animation on bugs never really works. Don't know why. I mean, in general, I think, you know, knocking down bugs is not a great idea. There's a cave entrance there. We're not going to enter it because we're vastly under level for what's in there. That's the boss place. Yep. Nope. Oh, of course. I totally forgot. I was looking like, oh, is that axe perhaps an item that we want to use? It is absolutely not, because we want to focus on maces. Because soon, very soon. Whoa, that was a lot of healing. I do not like that. We're going to go into a constellation soon. And with soon, I mean maybe this week, maybe end of next week. We're going to go invest in a constellation that is all about maces and all about physical damage. Specifically internal trauma damage. But all of its perk only works if you are wearing a mace. Or you don't wear maces, you carry maces. If you're carrying a mace, so we need that then, obviously. But that's going to be part of Burwich Estate, which is quite a big area as well. But not as big as Burwich Outskirts. Like I said, I even forgot his name, that's how forgettable it is for me. Foggy Bank is the place that I always forget. That's always like, oh yeah, this is a place where I still need to go. Burwich Outskirts, for me at least, because I want to do everything, it's kind of this big obstacle. It's kind of the great filter of my characters. I only go through Burwich Outskirts when it's a character that I really like. So if I don't go there and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to go through Burwich Outskirts so far, I know that it's probably not a very fun character for me. And I don't think it's even because it is so long, because it's relatively big, but there are certainly bigger areas in the game that feel far less big. I think it's a combination of you have a clear goal and 2 ways to go there, or perhaps even more than 2, because those 2 ways overlap quite often. And there is a lot to do. There are a lot of enemies. There are a lot of different enemies. There are multiple quests. There is a quest that you get here and a quest that you finish here. And all in all, oh, it also has multiple. I mean, I say multiple. Multiple is 2. It also has 2 underground areas. This is one. So all in all, that makes that it is just a big area. It may not be the largest in size, but it's probably one of the largest in content. There's a lot in it, there's a lot to do, there's a lot you have to do. See? Final one of the hammer. 24% physical damage, 30% increased internal trauma damage, and 6% increased armor. Sounds exactly like our character. And now we have 7 points in Ascendant and 4 points in Order, which means we've unlocked the Rowan Scepter. And this is the one that requires a mace. Now the first one isn't too exciting, nor is the second one. But then we get to the fun stuff with 50% increase in physical damage, and then quite a lot internal trauma damage, and 80% increase in trauma damage. And here also more internal trauma damage and more internal trauma damage with increased duration. So there's a very strong focus on internal trauma damage, which is a pretty rare damage type. Internal trauma is the physical damage over time type. This game divides damage in normal damage and damage over time. And some of them are very obvious. Like fire damage has burn for over time. Lightning damage has electrify. Frost damage has frostburn. Or cold damage has frostburn, I should say. Some are a little bit that it is like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. To me, that's very much a thing of acid damage. Poison damage is acid damage over time. Which to me, who comes to this game from tabletop gaming, those are two very different things. So that feels quite unique. Wait, was that a good focus? No, never mind, acid and poison damage. I got excited because I saw +2 to Blitz, but no, fortunately no. And physical damage has the damage over time of internal trauma. Not strangely enough, bleeding. Bleeding damage is its own damage over time. I accidentally right-clicked. Bleeding damage is its own damage over time. It does not have a non-overtime, so an instant damage equivalent, which I think makes it the only one who has it that way. There are some that have it the other way. Chaos damage, vitality damage, never mind, vitality damage, fatality, okay. Chaos and ether damage, as well as Pierce and I thought another one. No, that's it. Well, Pierce don't have damage over time. Which I have to say, I kind of feel like bleeding damage should be piercing damage over time. That feels like a logical connection. I'm now fighting two heroes at the same time, so I'm trying to separate them first. I'm frozen. Ooh, blood. You're fun, you're not good. I've got something that's way better. I've got something that gives +2 to Righteous Fervor. In my experience, something giving +2 to your basic attack bonus, to your basic attack ability, the ability you're going to use literally always, there's very little that beats that. Attack damage is gonna have a hard time beating it. Flat damage is, percentage damage absolutely is. It usually does confuse back. Best one. to get to like a lot higher levels. Like it might be beaten by say a plus 12% increase in physical damage. And those things are around. Sometimes I find them, and I consider myself especially lucky at those moments. Oh, nice level up. I think we can do that one quite quickly. There we go. That was our entire level up. It's a bit boring, but it gets us to the good stuff. Oh, I accidentally pressed the button there. That was interesting. Yeah, there we go. That's why I like Blitz more. They both have their minor, very insignificant benefits that I like, but don't really matter. I like Blitz because it can go around corners and target enemies that are very far away. And I like Fire's Might, which is the Oathkeeper one, which is the other one. I like that one because you can do it also when there is no target. So you can just hurry up a bit. And go just that little bit faster, which is probably really not that much faster, but it feels a lot faster because you move. But then you need to start walking again, which always seems to take just a little bit longer. That doesn't matter, it's about the feeling. I like them both. I like having a character that has both. I've gone a little into mobs of this game. Just took a quick peek at it. Played some characters in it. But I eventually decided to go back to unmodded to first really finish up the story and really experience the game how it was meant to be played, instead of with all kinds of additions that are not there according to the lore. Just to see what this was like, just to have it first finished as the game itself, instead of as a combination of Earth. By the way, I'm doing this from this direction because there is a place right here where the road is blocked off. It's always blocked off either there or there, and you don't know where until you enter. And I go through one of the ways and not through the other to get to remember which foot. Or out of it if I go the other way, but then there's a chance you encounter a wall and that's that. Anyway, talking about movement, there's a character, or really a character, it's a character concept that I made for that for the mod that added a lot of new masteries. Why are you not better? Oh, of course. I say that and I immediately know it's because of Righteous Fervor. I had a concept for a character in that mod that was entirely based around 2 skills. The character itself didn't really have much damage type overlaps or anything like that, so it probably wouldn't really have worked. But I really liked the idea. The idea was that the character had 2 skills that would both buff allies or buff pets. Two pet classes, both skills would buff pets, and one skill was a skill that would jump, where you would jump to the enemy. I'm going entirely the wrong way, but the first one to do a lot of other things. One skill was one where you would jump towards the enemy and buff all your pets. And the other one was a skill where you would jump away from your enemy and buff all your pets. And I just really like the concept of just having a character that is constantly jumping back and forth to and from enemies. And in the meantime, their pets are doing all the work. Don't know why, it just seemed funny to me. And really, that is why I like this game, for those. Because it is so versatile, I like this game because there are so many possibilities. Because you can try to combine characters that don't really seem combinable at first and realize like, oh hey, this works, that's cool. It's the entire reason why I'm now playing this specific character. And probably also why the game sticks with me. Because it has these things, these choices and things you encounter that get me intrigued. Just the first time that I saw the Codex of Reckoning as an item, I immediately was like, how would that work? How can you make that work? And now I'm exploring that right here. And probably not going to find my answer until hopefully next week, or let's be more realistic, the week after that. But that's okay, because the path toward this is also worth it. I also think now that I'm actually aware of the time this time while playing this game. Also think that Burwich outskirts and the entire area around here, that it feels so long simply because it takes a long time. Oh look, Beast hates us now. Great. Because I remember that before this, when we got here, I looked at time and I was like, we can probably do Burwich outskirts and then go through Burwich in this stream. Now that I look again, I'm like, maybe a little bit over enthusiastic. See, there's quite a chance that I'm going to extend this stream. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I'm checking the map way too often. Hello. There's our Pilgrim.
Well, I'll be a living person.
Oh, let's first take care of bugs. I've been stranded out here since Burbage fell. Fortified myself on this little patch of islands, cooking whatever critters get too close while watching for the inevitable end. You're a welcome sight for sore eyes. Burbage fell months ago. How have you survived this long? Well, I can cook for one. I used to work in the capital and had the honor of preparing meals for a couple of noble houses and many foreign dignitaries. I'm not a fighter, but I've learned to hunt a bit when necessary. Gets me by. Scraps of bone rat aren't exactly fine dining, though. Most of all, I just keep quiet and observe. What about you? Where do you hail from? We could use a cook. I will tell him about the prison. This prison of yours sounds like a heaven compared to my current dwelling. I bet I could do my share as well. Men fight better on full stomachs. How will we get all my equipment to Devil's Crossing? I can open a rift gate. A portal? I've only ever seen one of those before, and it wasn't spitting out the good guys. I really hope you're not trying to pull one on me. Here goes nothing. See you in Devil's Crossing. And there goes our Cook Pilgrim. A little nice quiet stroll through smoldering fields. I have to wonder, because most locations in this game, like their names are already known. Like you've got Burwich, even though it's entirely ruined by now. You've got Devil's Crossing, which used to be a prison, and now still has the same name, and Lower Crossing, which is entirely overrun, but still called Lower Crossing. People talk about Whitemire in a way that, you know, it probably has been called Whitemire for a very long time. I wonder if this place has always been called Mouldering Fields, and if so, why did they give that place the name? What happened here that went so wrong that they have called the place Mouldering Fields? This does sound like a great name. I mean, who knows? Maybe because you can see a couple of cabbages and very large fungi around here. Maybe they originally grew fungi here, and it is the cabbages who are the intruders. Who knows? Or maybe they originally grew cabbages, and this, by the way, I'm not going to read this. This is one of the most depressing things in this game. That one diary. Maybe they grew cabbages here originally, then got some kind of weird giant fungus plague that entirely ruined their harvest and fed on their cabbages, and they realized, you know what? These fungi are actually edible. Let's just forsake our cabbages and grow fungi. There's a boss fight, or mini boss. And it's not too tough. It's a little tough. The biggest problem is that I've had many times where I try to fight that boss and discovered way too late that there are also a lot of healers around him. And then, you know, enemy healers in this game are extremely powerful because they heal enemies basically always just back to full. And it's always an annoying moment when you just think you've got an enemy boss, and then it's like, whoop, full health, okay. It's not too bad once you know what you're doing. Keep an eye on your health. And have decent electricity resist for this this moment in the game. That also helps. And with that, I think we are done with his place for now. That's good. I like that. I like being done with that place. Hello, Hormond. I can tell you've had your share of horrors. Tell me, what was the battle like? It's gruesome and bloody, just the way I like it. I hope they suffered. Nobody deserves to be torn apart by monsters like that. And now there are few less in the world. Thanks you. Here, take your eye. Thank you, I did what had to be done. Ulgrim? Well, if it isn't my savior, I cannot thank you enough. Finally get to cook for some other people again. Here, have some soup. Could use some salt with Captain Whiskey over here, insists it's for combat use only. Glad you've settled in. Yay, I'm now friendly with Devil's Crossing. Come back at any time. I've got a few old stories to tell if you have an ear to listen. Will do, later, old timer. So now, we can actually go here and talk to Constance, who apparently didn't like us before, but I never really talked about her. sure about that. Okay, I thought it was frozen for a second. I'm sorry if I insulted you here. Your origins were just a bit startling. I hear that you braved the dangers beyond level crossing. I was wondering if you could help gather some materials. What do you need? You see, I was a seamstress before the Grim Dawn. Nothing special, but just enough to get by. But now I see an opportunity to use my trade to make a difference around you. I would like to sew some new canopies, and maybe some new clothes if there's enough fabric left. Alex and Jane deserve better than this. If you could please gather any fabric you find, the people here would be grateful. The waterfront in Burwich would be a good place to start looking. I will get fabric. That's a new quest, and new quest is always good, because new quest means more experience, more items, and just more nice things. Are you worth keeping? No.
It's safe with me. Promise.
Now, we found this. Cultist Order. Cultist Orders. Brothers of the Blood. The ethereal presence in Burwich grows stronger with each passing day. We are shifting our operations beyond the city limits, where we may proceed with our plans undisturbed. Our focus now turns upon Devil's Crossing, where our newest agent, Dairini, has successfully sabotaged their water pump. Soon that irksome group will be forced to flee their sanctuary, and then they shall be at our mercy. Ready yourselves, brothers. Soon we shall drink of their blood. Salazar, Blade of Chthon. Salazar, Blade of Chthon is actually the character. Remember that big iron door where we need to get the key from, where it said, like, I entered that and it said, you sent a very powerful present for your way to the left for this? That's Salazar, the Blade of Chthon. That one's located right there. And he talked about Dairini, the guy right there.
What do you want?
You look to start problems? Best be on your way. Found a curious note in Burwich. Mentions you by name. Oh, I wouldn't believe anything it says. It's slander. Explain yourself. Now, I know this doesn't look good for me, but hold that weapon of yours in checks a second, huh? Yes, I sabotaged the water pump, but I had my reasons. You see, I was a prisoner here back when the place still served as an actual prison. When the world went down to Slithole, I stayed there with a few others. It was the safest place I could think of. Clearly, Bourbon thought the same when he showed up with the rest of the survivors. Things escalated quickly. I'm sure it was us who fired first, but it was them that fired the last. Those prisoners that survived were driven out and set free. Call me a coward for all I care, but I hid when the fighting got ugly. Came out later looking like another refugee, and no one was the wiser. Never could forgive Bourbon for what he did to us, though. I missed the part where you don't deserve to die. Oh, all right, I'm getting to that. The Code of Reckoning, not a bunch of people you want to cross, obsessed with the blood of some fallen god, or maybe it's just blood in general. They made me an offer. I sabotaged the water pump. I get safe haven at their hideout. Get back at Bourbon, find a new hole. Two birds with one stone, as they say. Wasn't until I attended one of their underground meetings that I realized I was mixing with the wrong crowd. And believe me, I've been affiliated with some pretty twisted individuals before. Ran out of there before they were done with the first initiate. Don't want to know what that entails. You have one of their keys, though. I do have one of their keys, though. The price for the mistakes I've made. Let's make a deal, eh? You don't breathe a word of this to Bourbon. I give you my key along with directions to their lair. There should be plenty of stolen belongings there, ripe for the taking for the likes of you. Don't try anything funny, though. Keep that key well hidden. Don't want to raise any suspicion. No, not enough. Die, traitor. Oh, that was surprisingly easy.
What's with all the commotion?
Dairini was sabotaging us. He damaged the well pump.
I trusted that son of a slith. Thank you for uncovering this betrayal.
Who knows what other damage he could have caused if left to his devices.
I do what I can. And get experience and ooh, blood thumb in return.
Have you found a rift gate in Burwich? What's the situation out there?
Swarming with ethereal corruption, but the rift gate is secure.
Good work. While you were gone, I dug through some of the files in this office, and I think we have our target. As you are acutely aware, ethereals can possess humans and bend them to their will. I always had my suspicions, but now I have little doubt. The former warden of this prison is possessed. Well before the Grim Dawn, in fact.
How can you be sure?
There have been countless holes in the prison records, prisoners just disappearing, never to be seen again. The warden's personal logs paint a more complete picture. He's been transferring prisoners into a secret facility underneath his mansion in Burwich Village for years. What for, I don't know, but I'm sure it wasn't for rehabilitation. There are also several mentions of ethereals and rift gates. I need you to find this man, or whatever he has become.
Where can I find him?
Warden Krieg owned a mansion in the northern district of Burwich Village. The logs indicate that his facilities can be reached via the cellar. I'm afraid I don't have more to go on, but if we want to strike back at the ethereal power structure in the region, the warden is our prime target.
Very well, I will end the warden's life. And there's our next quest.
Let's see what I can do.
We've got Blood of Chthon, we should drop that off.
I'll keep you stairs.
That's one,
Keep an eye on this.
that's a rare, or, I don't know what's it called.
I'll see what's left.
Something like a rare ingredient. I should look that up before I start talking. In any case,
See you around.
I'm just gonna look up what it's called.
Safe storage, no questions.
It's called a... thought it had a name.
I'll keep an eye
Apparently
on
it
this.
doesn't. They are essential items.
That's all.
Because they are items that can make relics that are used in quite some crafting materials. Tainted brain matter is one. As you can see, blood of Chthon is one. And these are really useful items that we absolutely want. We should take a look which one we actually want. So what do we have? Calamity is good. It's physical damage and bonus. Potential bonus to physical damage, bonus to fire damage. And a chance to deal more physical fire and burn damage. So that is certainly a good one. I'm at the moment mostly looking at just having a bit more damage output. Mistborn Talisman doesn't offer much. Offers Troll Rage, which is fun, but we already have a good ability in Righteous Fervor. Rampage is good. I think I might just go with Rampage. I often go with Rampage. Bonus physical damage, bonus attack speed, and chance to deal a lot of bleeding damage. And get 15% total speed for 5 seconds on a critical hit. Yeah, that seems good. I think we'll go for Rampage. I won't do it right now because I'm still 4 levels behind. 4 levels before I can actually get it, and you never know what you might encounter. Maybe we'll just find it lying around somewhere. We probably won't because I've never found a relic before, but you never know. More likely is that I don't get to level 25 this week, and I have a character that gets a better item than that before next week. And I've got one left over. I don't want to craft more than this. So now we're going to move through Burwich into and through Burwich Estates. You're actually quite good. You still don't give me +2 to Righteous Fervor, which is a bit unfortunate, but you're good. I said worth it. What do I lose? Don't really lose anything except for a few points of armor. I'm willing to do that. I just want to see if this is more damage. Probably isn't, but I just want to see. No, it's not. Alright, good. Then we'll stick with this. I might separate Burwich Estates into two parts. I don't usually do it. I don't really like doing it. But Burwich Estates is quite big, but has the nice thing of a nice and easy bridge that leads towards it from Burwich Village. So we can get back there quite easily. I'm first clearing out Burwich Village. And then I will try to show what I actually mean. I also have the feeling that the higher level area you get, the more monsters they spawn at once. So it does actually become harder, even though you level with the enemies in general. I mean, we're now slowly the enemies are actually leveling to our level, which is kind of the exact opposite of most other games. That's funny in my opinion. Let's see if we get nice things here. So far, seems good. Are you good? No. You're not bad. You're not better either. All right. I've already been there. So we can now either go this way over the bridge into the Burwich Estates, but we're instead going to the abandoned waterfront, which is this way, because that holds both a couple of monsters with a nice boss, and there is a quest here that we need to fulfill. We are abandoned waterfront. Really like that I'm still using my using the abilities that should be used for movement and engagement, that I'm not just using them as area attacks. I'm taking a lot of damage here. I don't have high poison resistance, do I? Nope, I don't. Well, that's going to be great. These places, at least this place, is dangerous domain. What it means is that the enemies here are stronger, and they have a modifier. In this case, it is that their speed is reduced. No, their damage is reduced, I'm sorry. But they land critical hits more often. But in addition to that, as you can see, they're also like they're off my level, unlike everything else we've encountered so far. And I've taken a lot of damage because this is also a boss fight. Right. Let's recharge. Good. Oh, damn. And the water here can be poisonous, which is why my health just plummeted. These places, they come in different, basically different strengths. Oh wow! Plus 11% attack speed. Oh, that wasn't as much of an increase as I'd hoped. That's unfortunate. But it's still okay, it's still an increase. Yeah. There are different tiers of those places. We're now in Dangerous Domain, that's the lowest one. There might be more than the ones I know, but I know that there's Dangerous Domain, I know there's Treacherous Domain, that's one above. And there is Forbidden Domain, which is only specific locations, which are basically roguelike dungeons in this game. And they've tried to simulate a roguelike dungeon in a game like this by changing it upon entry, slightly randomizing it, making that if you die, you cannot open rift gates. So you can. The only way you leave is if you beat it or if you die. And they are, I think, the most difficult. One of the most difficult parts of the game. Certainly of the base game. It will take a while before we encounter them, and it will take far longer before we actually go in, if ever. Probably will. Because they are fun. They can be extremely frustrating. Because I, as a person, tend to hoard in games. But the places, and those places have a lot of loot. However, you cannot actually leave, nor can you sell anything in there. So you have to leave good stuff behind, which I always find frustrating. But oh well. I mean, I say always. The one time I did this, it was frustrating. I should also look at the item that I got. I'm actually a little bit disappointed. I expected it to be way better than that was. How far are we? Okay. Oh, we left up. Nice. It was Physics turn, right? Yeah, it was. Why have I got points in spirit? Oh, I thought I was... Yeah, okay. I could go for a hybrid build for also focusing fire damage, but I kind of want to focus more on just physical. In any case... Ooh, we get here. Nice. So we can either... I mean, the choice obviously. I'm going to upgrade my base attack. Dealing more internal trauma damage. And now that we've got internal trauma damage on our basic attack, I also kind of want to put Assassin's Mark on it. Just fervor. And let's put this one back on. Nah, I just missed. The reason I do that is mostly because I have heard. I've never experienced it yet because I think this only really shows up in higher difficulties. But I've heard that resistance reduction, which Assassin's Blade gives, is basically the way you deal damage in this game. That without it you will eventually encounter enemies that you just cannot defeat because they won't take damage. No matter how high your no matter how high your damage output is, they have a damage resistance of more than 100, so they won't take damage. So that's why I just kind of just wanted to see how that works. If it works. I mean, it probably does. Like, there are people that have played this game way more than I have. So it's more that I wonder if it's also worth doing on lower difficulties. What I do know is that, and it's a system I really like, it doesn't matter that, it doesn't matter if my enemies do not have any physical resistance, for example. Then their physical resistance will just go into the negative and they will take more damage from my physical attacks. Which is something I really like, because then it becomes useful always instead of only against some enemies against which you need it, because otherwise you don't deal any damage. To be honest, more systems could use that. More games. Okay, now our inventory is getting quite full, so I'm going to return. Wow, oh, it's Righteous Fervor, of course. Usually this one, I thought this one would be really good for what we have. But it's not that good, unfortunately. I say unfortunately. Mostly because I like exchanging items, and I like getting new items and getting rid of the old ones. Did you get some fabric? Yes, here it is. Great, this is more than enough to clean this place up a bit. Should also have some left over to make some new clothes. Many people here are wearing nothing but rags. Oh, and please take this jacket. I've been working on these for Briggs and the other guards, but I think you've earned the first one. Thank you, happy to help. I'm going to immediately side. Because that is the jerk I am.
Safe storage, no questions asked. I'll keep an eye. I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Alright, so now...
Put it to good use.
That's the wrong item that I looked at, by the way. The one I had was even worse. Okay, so where are we now? We're now right there. That means we're at the entrance of Burwich Estates. And it's now kind of exactly time. I think I will end it here and then do Burwich Estates itself next time. Because the only part that we really need to cross that we did before is this part here. And that's fine. Then we get to Burwich Estates here. And maybe it's a bit of a long shot, but maybe we can finish Act 1 next time. Because all we then need to do is go into Warner Creek Cellar and kill the warden. And then we can go on to other places. We can start Act 2. And in Act 2 we'll probably hit level 30 so that we can finally actually use the Codex of Reckoning. Because remember, we still are not using the item that the entire character is based around. But we'll see all that next time. For now, I'm going to end the stream. I won't be back this Sunday, unfortunately, with Pathfinder. But we will probably be back next week. The plans are there. I am definitely going to continue this because I like this. So I will be back next Friday with more Grim Dawn. I hope to see you then. Goodbye.